start recording. Alright, I'm recording this. So let me clear this. Okay, and so what we did last time was we took 3 physical hard drives, okay? And then we made one big logical drive. Okay, so it's called logical. Logical means it's in principle, you can't see it. LVM, logical volume. Then out of that, okay, we already went so far. So what did we do? So we went this far and made the partitions, right? Okay, good. So let me open another screen here. So let's do LSBLK. Okay, you see here with LVM is going to randomly select which drive is going to use it up from, okay? So right here you got ZMPT1 a little bit, recruiting here a little bit, and another block is being used from this hard drive here, okay? So this is random here. It never knows what drive is going to end up putting the partitions on. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is extend. Oh, I already showed the extending the logical volume. So here's the thing with the physical hard drive, when we are doing F disk, if the partition is in the middle, remember I told you that you could only do extend the end partition. In LVM, you could extend any partition, it doesn't matter. So this one got extended here, so we add 8 GB, right? So the total for HR now is 12 GB. So let's see here, HR, you see HR here is 12 GB here. Okay, originally it was 8, then we went on and make another drive here, and then we extended. So let me split this. Split. By the way, for my previous batch, I have a recruiter working with my students here. So sooner or later they'll get the job. But here's the thing here. I want everybody to focus on this and give me what I'm asking, okay? I'm asking for the document here. 1, 2 or 3 people sent me. Not everybody has sent that to me, okay? So it is really important because I'm not just giving you training here. What I'm doing is I'm preparing you for the job. That's the important thing what I'm doing for you. Because you could get the training, then you could imagine, I mean, writing the resume and all that is also a skill here. I mean, if you don't know what to put on the resume, I mean, how are you going to communicate with the recruiter? That's the biggest thing. Okay, now um, total is 12 GB. Now, okay. All right. So the more you do it, the better it gets here. You have to have. If you nail this in the interview, you will get the job. Believe me. There is nobody would stop you from getting the job once you know how to uh, take care of this logical volume. It's very, very important. I'm using it for years every day. There is not a day I'm not using this every day. Okay, so let's see here. What's next? Extend logical volume. Okay, then what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna show you how to add swap using logical volume. Okay, it's the same concept. Add a logical volume using swap. So today's date 06/20/2020. Give me 1 second. Were you able to connect to the server earlier? It was down yesterday because the server was
I
down.
did.
Yeah. Sorry,
Thank you.
there was some electrical surge at the place, so I have to go there and fix it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, and so let's see here. Clear. You do free -h. Okay, so our volume here is the swap partition is 2.6 GB. Okay, why is it 2.6 GB? I think at one point we added the physical swap, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove that. Let's do df-h and root. Okay, so it's not showing here. I'll do lsblk, and I'm gonna do sda2 sda. Okay, so swap partition, right? sdb3 is the swap partition here. So I'm gonna do blkid. Okay, here's the swap partition here, right? I'm gonna turn the swap off. Okay, and then I hit enter. So now the swap should be the original one. Okay, free -h. So the swap is 1 GB now. So let's work with this. So um, okay, so right now our total usable RAM is 1 GB and this is 1 GB, so 2 GB is there, right? With swap, what you could do is you could add as much as you want. uh,
Sir, I have one question. So, do we have to, you did for deck mappers and device swap, and the swap which we created earlier was for SDB3. Yeah.
yeah, I removed it, so this is the original one.
Okay, so you're removing the original one.
No, not the original one, the extra one we added here. Remember earlier here it was 2 GB, right? 2.6 GB.
Yeah.
So I removed it so that we work only with LVM here.
Okay.
We worked earlier with this one, right? With the F disk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I removed this. I mean, you could still keep that there. So, but just to keep the LVM clean, I just removed it. So we'll just focus on LVM part.
Okay.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a swap, and then I'm gonna add a whopping 4 GB. Okay, and this will go down to 8 GB. Okay, so let me clear this. So we're gonna add 4 GB, right? So here's the command. It's pretty simple. LV create, okay, hyphen N. Let's bring the one of the other commands back up here for creating LV. Right here, it's almost the same thing here. Okay, LV create, N for new, and then um, you have to give the name, what is the partition name. So I'm gonna give this as an extended partition, ext swap. Okay, and same thing, hyphen L, capital L means logical, and what is the size you want to give? You want to give the size 4 GB, and then volume group Z, we're gonna take it out of the volume group, ZMPT1. Okay, so let me copy this. This is almost same exact thing we're doing. So over here, instead of accounting, I'll put it here. So when I hit enter, this is nothing but any other drive here. Don't look at the name here. This is just the name. Okay. Now what we have to do is, when does it becomes swap? When you create the root partition. I'm sorry, not the root partition, but the file system. Okay, so let's do LV display. LV display is logical volume display. Okay, let me clear this. LV display ZMPT1. Okay, in here, this is the latest volume group, volume partition here. And it's telling you just the name here, but it doesn't tell you what type. Inherit file system. It doesn't say file system here. So now we'll make it a swap partition. You have to use the swap partition here. If you try to use the regular partition and try to add to the swap, it won't work, okay? So what you have to do is mk swap, and then you have to give the partition name, full location. Setting up swap space version, no label, whatever. Okay, so let me copy this. LV display. And then you run the mk swap. Okay, and let's do lsblk. Okay, and in here it took up the created a partition here in SDC here. Okay, so I told you earlier that it's gonna put this as randomly here, so I think it found some 4 GB in here and put it here. So 8, 10, 18. 18 plus 4 is 22. I think 2 more is left here. So you don't have to worry about where to put the partition here. It's good. The system is gonna do it for you. Okay. Good. You do lsblk and then you do blkid, and you could see the much more detailed information here. Okay, and let's do free-h, free-h, and the swap is only, how much is swap? 1 GB. So I'm going to copy this. Oh, I got to copy this too. And then look at this here. This is only 1 GB, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to attach the swap. Okay, let me do swap on, and then the same name. Clear lsblk. No, blkid, and this is the swap we're gonna use. Okay, I'm going to clear this. I'm going to say swap on, and then I'm going to add this here. Okay, if I do free hyphen edge, you see swap is now 5 GB. Why is it 5 GB? Because we added 4 GB of LVM to it. Okay, so yeah, go ahead.
Sir, I have a question. Sorry, I missed it somehow. Sir, what does this command mkswap did? I mean, we created the swap with lv create, and what did the mkswap did? And
Okay, you know how you could make the partition here, right? So if you partition type, we were dealing with only 3 partitions so far: ext4, I'm sorry, ext4 and xfs and swap. Swap is
okay, okay,
in
oh,
itself is
yeah,
a
yeah, I got it. Sorry.
partition
Yes,
type.
sorry, sir. Yes,
Okay,
I got it. Thank you.
yeah, that's a good question. Let's see here. So it's not going to show here. I think BLK ID shows it here. So if you look at the end of the line here, it has the partition information and all that, and it says the XFS. Okay, type is, it says LVM2, LVM2 member, because this is a logical volume. Okay, and then okay, this is giving you the information for the physical drives, and these are the logical ones. Okay, and then the types is XFS swap, XFS swap, or you would have ext4 right here, ext4. So going forward, you should have the one we created with fdisk as an informational, but LVM is the one you're gonna use it a lot, day in and day out. Okay, so let's keep it that way. Okay, clear this. All right, and let's see here what else. So let's see here how many steps we went through. 1, 2. Okay, 3. We literally went through 3 steps here, right? So, but if you have to create a swap with the traditional file system here, let's see how much you have to do. So if you're doing this, you have to go through the fdisk commands if you're doing the swap partition here. Okay, so you could see how easy this LVM is, and you don't have a headache of managing the physical hard drive. Okay. Now all of a sudden we are running out of I want to create another partition for another like 10 GB. Okay, I only have 8 GB, so it's a problem, right? So what I need to do is I need to add a hard drive. I need to add additional hard drive in here. So how I'm gonna do, I'll show you in a minute. Okay, so far this is clear, right? So let's talk about adding physical volume here, okay? So this one is adding physical volume. Uh, so I just told you adding physical volume. What does it mean? I just explained this to you, right? It's adding another physical hard drive. Okay, that's what this means. Adding another physical hard drive here. So we have here about 8 GB. So I want a bigger size here. So how are we gonna do that here? So for that, you have to shut down a system. So let's do. Okay, this is only the virtual box. Okay, in a real world environment, you don't have to shut down. If you're using the VMware or whatever, you could do. You could add the hard drive while the system is still running. I'm gonna shut down the system and add another hard drive. So go in here, right click. I should take a screenshot here, right? Or you guys are good with this? Let me take a screenshot, might as well.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So,
what?
sir, right now we only have to see because we can't add a hard drive in our system, isn't it?
What do you mean you can't?
Sir, you said like now we are physically adding a hard drive. So, right now we can't add a hard drive at least in our system over here. So we have to follow this as well?
Yeah, yeah, shut it down and add it.
Okay.
Shut down VirtualBox machine and then add the hard drive in it, okay?
Okay.
So how am I gonna do this? Alt print screen. And so let's see. Let me paste this in here. I was hoping I capture the. No. Let's do this. Okay, so I think I got this here. Um, add 16 GB um, to virtual machine in VirtualBox. Okay, yeah, that should give you good information here. Okay, so you right click, add drive, and create new. I have to take a picture of this too. Okay, I'll do it. So, what happened here? Okay, so you take a picture and then so click on create. Okay, choose create. Create new disk. Okay, here give it a name LVM4 LVM4 and then set this as another 16. Okay, usually when I'm adding the hard drive it's 1 TB 1 TB, something like that here. Okay, for just to keep this you know, just to keep this easy here, I'm just doing this. All you have to type is VENT or 16 GB here. Okay, so let's do create. Okay, and I'm gonna do create disk. Okay, so the fourth one is added here. You click on it, it says 16 GB. Okay, I'm gonna kick it back up on. So what I'm gonna do now is, so how much we're gonna have now? How much we're gonna have here is plus 16 GB. So I'm gonna add another physical hard drive here. So split cell. Okay, this is /dev/SDE, and after E is gonna be F, SDF. So this is gonna be physical disk. Okay, and it's gonna be 16 GB. Alright, let me change the color here. Oh, let's see. I don't like that. Orange? Yeah, let's keep it orange. Yeah. Okay, so we added 16 GB here, so all of a sudden this is going to be 16 plus 48 is how much? 64, right? uh, yeah, my math is bad. 48 plus 16. 48, what I can 48 plus 16, 64. So this is going to be 64 GB. Okay, and how much you're going to have with left with 24. Everybody following me, right? I don't hear anybody saying anything, so I hope everybody's following this. So I'm gonna go back in here and restart the session. I'm gonna log back in. My simple login here. Starting this week, LVM is gonna end today, and then what I'll do is, starting this week, we're gonna start going into the scripting part. Okay. There are a lot of topics here, but I want to pause here and start scripting so that we get into some automation part. Missing any class going forward is going to be very damaging for you, because it's going to be really difficult to pick it up after this. Okay, but please use the chat and try to do a group study, or if you're doing it on your own, great. When you get stuck somewhere, please do not hesitate to ask in the chat. If you're shy in the chat, fine, just ask me directly. Okay, I'm willing to help you all, and if I want, I'm willing to even open another session here during week for half hour, 20 minutes, whatever, if you need help. Okay, but please open your mouth and ask me. The more you ask, the beneficial it's going to be for you guys, because you're spending a half year, not 1 or 2 months, and on top of this is not a boot camp here. Okay, I'm telling you, if you go for a Red Hat training offered by Red Hat, they'll just show you the Red Hat. They're not going to show you the scripting, Ansible, and some AWS. They'll just show you all this in 5 days, and it's over. Everything is over in 5 days. 5 8-hour days. So 40 hours is all be over. Actually 6 hours times 5. Everything will be done in 30 hours, 1 week. By the time you come out of it, you're not going to remember anything. You're not going to have all this. What I'm doing here is actually a class discussion. I don't have any set target. I don't have any predefined book or anything I'm following. So this is something I developed over the years, and I'm going and I'm giving you each and every notes as we are progressing through the class here. Okay, so please make good out of this, and this will put you in a 6-figure salary. Okay, if you want 6-figure salary, do exactly what I'm telling you to do. And I'm in contact with all the big top recruiters from big companies: Apple, Google, Facebook. I don't like Facebook myself, but they are all using Linux. In the background, they're using Linux. And when I worked for Apple for 1 year, they had 1 million servers. Okay, and guess what? What they are running? 1 million servers throughout the world. They are running nothing but Red Hat. They are running Linux, but which Linux? Red Hat, the one you're learning right now. So by the time you get out of this class, you guys will be like hotcakes. And the moment you put Linux, Ansible, all this on your resume, it's all going to be, everybody want to talk to you. Okay, so you did a good decision here joining the class, but do exactly what I'm telling you to do and you will be successful. So we added physical hard drive here. How are we going to add it here? So if you do DFFNH, you know, it's all there. If you do LSBLK, you should see the SDF is sitting there. SDF is 6 GB and getting wasted here. So let's make a use of this. Okay, so okay, you guys are comfortable running the commands and all that, right? Don't tell me you're still stuck in ls, pwd and all those, okay? Because you should be running all those commands. Okay, so let's see here. So add new hard drive 16 GB, okay, and then you do lsblk and let's do the command here. We're gonna do the LVM commands here, so we do pv create and all that, okay? So let's do that. When you're adding a fresh unused raw disk, at this moment this f disk is considered as SDF is considered as a raw disk, okay? You remember this term, raw disk. I need to add some raw disk. That means you're telling somebody that, okay, it's a brand new disk, nothing is on it, you're adding it. So how are you going to do that? You do pv create, and let me do this here, clear, pv create, and then you type def/sdf. Okay, how do you get SDF? You type lsblk and it will give you that information, and hit enter. So it says physical volume created, but it's not part of VG group yet. If you do VGS, okay, VGS still 48 GB. Okay, so let me copy this command here, pv create, you do VGS, and it's not there yet. Okay, now if you want to add this to the part of the existing volume group, you have to type the different command here, okay? So you type vg extend, extend. Okay, what is that stands for? Volume group extend. And which volume group you're going to extend is this one here, ZMPT1. And what are you going to add it to the ZMPT1? We are adding def/sdf to ZMPT1. Okay, simple as that. It says volume group successfully extended. And if I do VGS, and you see here's a 64 GB, okay? Any questions? So you did this volume group. You added this. You added this 64 GB is that's what it went up to. It was 48 GB. Now it's 64 GB. Okay. All right. So let's see here. All this looks good. Okay. You could do VG display also for bigger output. Okay, it will give you a lot more information here, but let's see here. Uh, so it is showing up this metadata here. Okay, or you could do LVS. Okay, so this is what LVS is showing you here. So I think this showing you only the partitions here. It's not showing you the raw disk information, which you don't have to worry about it. Okay, so let me clear this. So what happens here is, yeah, go ahead. You got a question?
Yes, sir. Um, so we are if we want to add some more space in a volume group CMT1, so we are adding a new hard disk and adding the space. Suppose if we have one more volume group, suppose ZMPT 2, and can we extend ZMPT 1 from ZMPT 2? Like, can we take some space from there and add it to ZMPT 1?
You have to remove it, which is my next topic. You have to remove the hard drive from here and make it available on ZMPT1, ZMPT2. Very good question. That
Okay.
means you are getting the concept here. I'm really happy that you're learning something. Yeah, once it's there, you just cannot do it randomly. You have to remove it and then add it in there. Okay?
Okay.
All right, so now let's remove this here. Let's remove dev/sdd. Okay, here's the good thing about LVM is, for example, if the physical drive SDD failed, you can just remove it and then add it another one. Okay, usually what you do is you check the, usually you get a alert that the physical volume is bad. But if you
Mhm.
are running on VMware and AWS, you're not going to get alert here because it's meaningless. All these things doesn't matter because for especially for VMware, you don't get any alerts here. I mean, people working in the VMware, they're adding extra data storage. I think data store. Is that right? We have some people who have VMware experience here. Yeah, they could watch for it. But physical disk, if you're more than likely you would end up being in a VMware environment. Physical disk means is what you see visually here. Physical disk is also physical disk if it's a physical metal hardware. Okay, so then you get into more problem here. Here is this, consider this as a VMware hard drive.
Okay.
But you're learning the concept here, so which is very good. So what I'm gonna do now is, and then this much is available, right? And then you could create as many partitions you want for the visual
Yes.
purpose. I'm gonna like stretch this here so that you could see it better. Okay, so 16 is smaller than 24. Okay, so this one looks good here, but 24 is so yeah, you see 24 is available here. Okay, uh, let me just squeeze this all this little bit so that you could see better visually. You have 10 GB, 10 GB. Okay, that looks better. So you have like 24 GB sitting there and getting wasted. So what I'm gonna do is SDD is a bad drive here, and we have to remove it out of here. Okay, so let me copy this.
Sir, is there any limit for volume groups?
No,
Or
no, very good question. It's going into terabytes, exabytes now. So there is no
okay.
limit. I mean, the technology has progressed so big, so much that
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just look at the size of the iPhone or the phones we have now. I mean, when I was working 20 years ago, the physical hard drive inside a computer itself used to be, it was like, let's go back into 2005, 15 years ago. The hard drive for like a nice $1,000 computer used to be 40 GB. Oh, I got 40
Mm-hmm.
GB, man. Wow. For
Okay.
I when I had wow, okay, back in 1999, I had a computer. The hard drive was uh how much was the hard drive back then? The size it was let's put it 12 GB. 40 GB in 2005. In 2005, 40 GB is 40 GB was wow, it's a big deal. Now 1 terabyte, you could get a silly 1 terabyte hard drive for less than $30-40. Okay, 1 terabyte is about 1,000 gigabytes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could see. I mean, virtually it's unlimited here, especially on your big jobs. Unlimited. The disk space is no problem these days. Just keep adding and adding and adding.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Got
VMware is something awesome too. Just because, okay, here, let me show you something here. Okay, let's look at this here and storage. Okay, so we created a 16 GB, right? But the actual size is 10 GB because 16 GB we haven't put any data on it. If we start putting data on it, it will increase up until 8 GB or 16 GB, whatever. So what happens now is, even though we I put it this as a 16 GB, but my size of my local C drive, still says free is this much here. Unless and until I really put about 16 GB of data, then it's gonna say 16 GB or whatever. So it's gonna expand dynamically. That's what it's called, dynamically allocated storage. If you're actually not using it, it's not actually using it. So that's where the LVM comes in. Okay?
it, sir.
Yeah. So it's like stacking everything close In old days, it used to be really difficult, but these days it's so much easier here. Okay, so remove physical volume. Okay, now the real term is reduce, not remove. Reduce. Okay, so I'm gonna do this here, and I'm gonna put a color in here, this and this color here. Okay, so let's reduce the physical volume. Okay, and how are we gonna do this here? So let's imagine this here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say reduce here. Okay, so I'm gonna knock 8 GB off. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, now suppose dev slash SDD is faulty. Okay, so you need to remove this drive here. Okay, so before you do that, you add a drive. Okay, normally before you remove something, you add it here. Make sure you adding it like equal or more than equal, larger than or equal or larger than the existing size here. So what you do is you type the command pv move. So before that you do lsblk. So we are removing a SDD, right? So what will happen is any partition information, anything which is randomly added there, we're gonna move it to SDF. Okay, so let's see here, let me clear this. Let's do pv move. We are physically moving the volume from dev SDD, okay, to dev SDF. All right, so it's giving us the countdown, how much it's complete.
Sir, I actually didn't had this SDF, but I created the SDE, which was 16 GB. So when I'm emptying the SDD into SDE, it's saying insufficient free space, 5120 extends needed, but only 4095 available.
Yeah, didn't I tell you a minute ago? You have to do LSBLK, and I
Yes, sir.
just told you the drive you are selecting to reduce should be uh, is it equal or more greater than that? Okay, so
Okay.
make sure both drives are either the equal size or the new drive is greater.
Okay, so let me create another drive so that I can
Yeah.
dump it over there.
Okay, now you see here SDD is blank. All the information from SDD has moved into SDF here. Okay, and then the user don't even feel anything. Users don't even feel anything. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, is faulty. So uh, so I'm gonna make a comment here. Make sure you add a disk before you reduce. Okay, so what we did here is we added one here, right? Now we are reducing it. We added one here and we're gonna reduce. We added this SDF and then we're gonna take the SDD out here. Okay, and the command is you run this command. You run lsblk and then I'm gonna copy SDD information here. Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, I was having a little difficulty. I mean, I would. Can you help me extend this? I have this partition SDE, which is like 16 GB, and SDD for me is like 20 GB. So, can you just tell me, because I don't want to waste everybody's time?
Yeah, I mean, how do you have this? Do you have a similar structure like me, or how many disks you have in to begin with?
Sir, I have SDA, SDB, SDC, SDD, so 5 disks.
Okay, did you add the disk in there yet?
Yes, right now, like you added, so I added it and it was 16 GB, and as it called SDE, because like I told you last time, my system got corrupted, so
Okay,
my
fine, I got it here. So it is taking the missing drive letter, right? So
yes,
SDE is 16 GB now.
SDE 16 GB now. This is the last one that I created just 20 minutes ago.
Okay. Now, which drive you want to empty out? Which drive you want to knock it off?
SDD.
Okay, what is the size of SDD?
SDD size is 20 GB. So yes, 20 GB.
Yeah, I told you. Here, look at this comment here. Make sure it has to be bigger in size or same size. So
Yes, sir.
so make sure the SD. Which one you're removing? SDD or SDE?
SDD.
SDD
SDD.
is how much? 20 GB.
Yes.
And the new drive you added is how much?
In fact, sorry, sir. The SDD is 24 GB, and the new drive that I added is 16 GB.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you, buddy. Add a bigger drive. Add say,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, take it out and add it another 24 GB so that it's either the same size or bigger than that.
Okay. Okay. So I have to stop my virtual machine to do that, isn't it?
Yes, go ahead and do that. I'm listening to you.
Okay, sir.
Do that in the background while I finish this up.
Sure, sir.
make sure you add a disk before you reduce, and it should be equal or greater than in size. Okay, that should be big enough. Okay, I'm gonna put you on mute here, okay? Unmute when you need to. Okay, so we did LSBLK and we are doing LSBLK again. And I hit enter here, then SDF. Here, right? Now, what I want you to do is take a look at the data structure here. So the data structure from SDD data structure is now mapped to SDF here. Okay? So SDD is blank. SDD is blank now. It's there is nothing on here. The SDD guard is LVM guard moved over to SDF from SDD. So let me copy this, highlight this. It got moved here. Okay? So the more you do it, the better it gets. I'm pretty sure LVM is one of the subjects you will love it. You will like it much better than anything else is out there in the Linux environment. Okay, so what this does is this will PV oh man, I'm sleepy today. So this command will move the LVM structure data and block information from dev SDD to dev SDF. Okay, so bit by bit. So it will actually cloning itself. Are you good? Okay.
Yes, sir. So I created a new drive. This was called SDF. Then I did PV create and then VG extend. So now my hard disk is bigger than yours. It's 80, 84 or 83 something. And now it's I did PV move, so it's copying now.
Okay, good. You're doing really good. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is, now we want to take this out here. We want to take SDD out of the picture here. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we just type this command here, pvg reduce. What we're gonna reduce is volume group, the size of the volume groups. We're gonna reduce it. The command is So if you type lsblk, so this is a faulty disk, so I'm going to take it out. So how am I going to take it out? Clear this, vg reduce zmpt1 volume group name, and what do you want to take it out? /sdd. Okay, and hit enter. Removed dev/sdd volume group from zmpt1 lsblk. Okay, so let's do lsblk, and what happens here? So the disk is not in there anymore. So how are we gonna verify that? Let's see here. So SDD is removed from volume group here. So VGS. Now the VGS is about 56 GB. Why is it 56 GB? Because 64 minus 8 GB is 56 GB. Alright, let's do the math here. 64 minus 8 is, yeah, 56 GB is left now. So, but here, all these are intact. If you do DFF and H, and if the user is working in any of this volume group here, if they're doing like a heavy data transfer or something, they are clueless what is happening in the background here, okay? They really don't care, or users, they don't need to know all that here, what is going on. You just did a major change in the background without even the user knowing about it. So that is the beauty of the logical volume manager, LVM. Okay, so let's see here. Oh. So I'm gonna have to copy this again. Okay, and after this, this is what it will looks like, okay? Okay, so we have 16, 24, and 16. So this is now reduced to 56 GB. Okay, and everything else is in place now. Okay, it looks good now, right? So we this is what it was, and this is what we end up with it now. So if you do VGS, it's 56 GB, and you do VG display. No, not VG. Yeah, let's do VG display. ZMPT1, and you have a current logical. Current physical volume is 3. Okay, let's do LVS. LV display ZMPT1. Okay, so what it's now is, this is like a long output here, so you could play around with all these commands here. Okay, so you could verify this. So let me see here other commands. Okay, so you could run these commands here. VG display, LVS, VGS. Okay, so now if you want to destroy everything you have created, you could do that too. Okay, so what you're gonna do here is I'm gonna say delete volume group. Let's see here. Let me clear this and DLK ID. Uh, VGS. VG. Okay, so give me 1 second here. I'm checking something. Okay, here there is another command here. I think I haven't used this much. PVS. PVS is what? Physical volume. Uh, physical volume structure. This is what is going to show you here. So let me put this right here. Okay, you see SDD is sad and sitting there and doing nothing. And you could do also PV display. So you could do like physical volume display is gonna do SDD. It's gonna give you a lot more information here. So volume group is not part of any volume group or anything, right? It's just there. So let me just clear this. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna delete the volume group. Usually this happens in when you're decommissioning the physical hardware here. Okay, so delete volume group. Okay, so when are you going to use the delete volume group? Um, when the system is being decommissioned. Okay, so first of all you have to do is turn off swap. So what you're going to do is swap off, and then what is that command? Dev slash mapper, and then the swap name. You could get that information from lsblk is this one here. Okay, swap off, and then you type this in. Okay, uh, maybe you type swap off -a. Oh, okay. See, remember we didn't make the when we rebooted it, the swap went away because we didn't made it permanent in fs tab. You go to cat etc fs tab. Fs tab is the one information you put in here so that it survives the reboot here. So I'm not worried about that. Let me just make a comment here. Reduce swap make entry into fs tab etc fs tab for it to survive reboot. Okay, good. So you do that. Okay, and that's the command. And then what you're gonna do is I'm gonna clear this and type pvs. So what you have to do is you have to remove the pv remove. So the command is vg remove zmpt1. Okay, and then you do -y. It says files in use. Let's me pv remove dev slash sdd. Okay, and I'm gonna do e. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clear this, and I'm gonna unmount dff and h Okay, I'm gonna U mount everything. U mount hyphen A, df hyphen H. You do df hyphen H. Everything is unmounted here. Okay. Unmount all the LVMs. What is the command I used? Umount hyphen A. Then I do df hyphen H. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna systematically remove all these drives here. So the SDD is gone. If you see, SDD is gone. And from PV SSD is not there anymore. So what I'm going to do is PV remove, because I think SDD I already removed it even before it was it gave us the. So I'm going to say dev slash SD C. PV is used by VGM. So I'm going to do PV reduce first. PV VG reduce dev slash SD C VG reduce. Okay, yeah, I'm using the wrong syntax. VG reduce ZMPT 1, okay, and PVS. So it's not doing that for me. Why is it not doing? I have to take the LVM out first. Let's see here if I should redo this. Reduce LVM. Let me just do this here as a delete delete logical volume, right? So what you have to do is you do VGS and let's destroy this here. One command is going to destroy everything here. So what I'm going to do is VG remove ZMPT1 hyphen Y. Okay, all this volume group is gone.
Sir, when I'm doing VGS, I can't see ZMPT1, though I had created it.
What do you mean you can't see it?
I mean, I did VGS and it just shows CentOS, which and says PV1, LV2.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll come back to you. Just hang on.
Okay, sir.
So let's do this here. Delete logical volume. Delete. So I type this command here, pv. Okay, we do VGS, and you could see that. And here I'm gonna give a space here, and then you run this. Okay, all the volumes are removed now. Okay. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take out the physical volume here. So let me clear this. Over here, it's still possible. It is still possible for the data to survive. Okay, now let's dismantle the entire volume group here. I mean the system. So how we're gonna do is this commands here. So you do lsblk again. Now you see all these are orphans here. So you do VGS, volume group is gone, right? You do PVS. So the physical volume is there. So what you have to type is you type PV remove. Let's do VGS again, or clear, and PVS. You do VG, physical volume remove, because right now it's not showing anything here, but logically it's a part of a physical volume. Let's do PV display. PV display, dev SDC, SDE, and all those are there, right? So you type PV remove, and you type dev. Okay, PV remove, and then you type dev. Before that, lsblk, and do blk id, and all these are showing. These are okay. When you type blk id, it's just plain close here. It's not showing anything here. But here, these are still the members of logical volume here. So you want to free that up. Okay, so how are you going to free that up? Okay, so let me put this at the bottom here. All right, I'll come back to that here. So what you do is PV remove, PVS. So I'm going to do PV remove, and then I'm going to say dev slash sd c e f. Okay, and let me run that. Now let's do, if you do PVS, when you do PVS, it's not there anymore. Okay. Now let's do BLKID. Okay, now you don't see they are part of any extension here. So now this disk is now SDC, DE, and FR. They are raw disk now. All they are now is raw disk. Okay, that's all it means. All right, so give me 1 second here. I'll see your screen. Keep your team viewer ready. Okay, and we did PV remove. So I'm gonna put note. The disks are still part of LVM. Okay, so use below command to make it raw disk. Okay, I'm gonna make it bold and go a little bit bigger. I'm gonna take the bold out. Okay, that should suffice. Okay, that's about it for the okay, so the disk we are worried about is this here. Okay, so we are done with disk management here. This is all about it. And what else is there? Okay, starting tomorrow we'll do some scripting and all that. Okay, do you still need my help?
No, sir. No, sir. But I think I had already run that command which you wanted me to do. So I'm actually at the same point where you are.
Okay, very good, very good. Okay, so the server is up. Make sure you take a time and take the exam or assessment. And also, are you guys practicing on your own? I'm asking you to do some practice on your own, right? Make sure you put that in the logs too. Okay, so if
Sure.
no questions, then um, what I'll do is, if there are no questions, then let's see here. I will end it now. Tomorrow we'll start working on scripting. That way you have some good automation here. I mean, okay, so okay. If no questions, I'm gonna end here and then I'll upload this soon as I'm ready to upload online. Okay. All right. Everybody have a good day.
Thank you, sir.
Sure. Sujata.